Bonjour, mon nom est Erika Delvecchio, je suis directrice adjointe à la Galerie Pierre-François Ouellette ici à Montréal. Aujourd'hui, j'ai le plaisir de m'entretenir avec Ripley Whiteside dans le cadre de son exposition Livre des miracles. Le reste de la conversation va se passer en anglais dans la langue de l'artiste. Hi, my name is Erika Delvecchio and I'm Assistant Director at Galerie Pierre-François Ouellette here in Montreal. And today I have the great pleasure of speaking with Ripley Whiteside in the context of his exhibition, Book of Wonders. So, hi Ripley.
Hello Erika, thank you.
Well, thanks for being with us. So, this whole exhibition is mainly watercolors landscape, and they were all inspired by the Book of Wonders of Augsburg from the 16th century. But first, I would like us to talk a bit about those relief prints that you created, and I had the great pleasure of curating the assemblage of this wonderful moons and asteroids. So please tell us a bit more on how you came about to creating these.
Sure, and within the show, each piece in the show corresponds to a leaf from the Augsburg Book of Miracles. And within that book, there is a prominent leitmotif of asteroids, comets, and eclipses. So I felt it fitting to undertake many of them for this installation. And these are styrofoam relief prints as well as woodcuts, created on a variety of different papers. I took just styrofoam from my recycling, as in here, and created the impression where we see the white of the paper just by depressing a bottle cap or a plastic cup. And that pressure was enough to create the indentation that preserved the white of the paper, creating this eclipse. And in the Augsburg Book of Miracles, comets and eclipses were signs that portended the various mishaps to come. And so folks living then in the 16th century would take these signs as moments to repent from the coming apocalypse.
Ripley, we are now surrounded by your watercolors, and I think it's very interesting that you mentioned previously that you use recycled items and materials to create those pieces, since your practice is inspired by the climate crisis, and it's a topic that really transcribed into your artwork. So tell us about this one.
Sure, this was the first piece to be created in this series, and it correlates to a leaf from the Augsburg Book of Miracles that shows a perihelia, or a sundog, and that's an optical phenomenon that happens when there is ice crystals high in the atmosphere that refracts the light of the sun, creating a second sun on the side, sometimes two other suns. The refraction of the light of the sun will create echoes of that image on either side of the sun. I felt like that was a very potent metaphor for global warming, and I began with this piece for the series in the show. Just the technique of creating it, I have been using watercolors that I mix myself, pigment and gum arabic, so that I'm able to have maintained control over the richness of the color. And I've also been using a lot of masking fluid, which is a liquid latex that I'm able to put down on the paper, preserving the white of the paper, and then making washes of the color over top of that, removing the masking fluid, and then subsequent washes again that bring out the sun in this sort of glowing manner like we have here. And this piece, the largest piece in the show, is titled Derecho and references a leaf from the Augsburg Book of Miracles. I believe the title, Reign of Grain in Klagenfurt. There are a number of miracles in the Augsburg Book of Miracles that are things falling from the sky. I live in Nashville, Tennessee, and last summer or the summer before, I experienced my first derecho, which is a straight line wall of wind traveling across the plains. And it was a very violent and dramatic storm. And and storms like that are happening with greater frequency and strength. So I was inspired to create a piece evoking the derecho, which tossed about all sorts of lawn furniture and grills and construction site equipment. I was inspired to evoke the chaos of the derecho, referencing things falling from the sky. And the things in this case are just a proliferation of junk. The objects that we have here include like bottle caps and packing material, a six-pack of beer packaging, children's toys, all sorts of different things that are certainly out of use on their way to the landfill. And I applied those objects to the watercolor paper, or this is actually thin drawing paper, but to the paper while the color was still wet, and having the material, the objects sitting on top of them while it dried, the watercolor separated and gives us an impression of the objects as it dries.
Ripley, thank you so much for this tour of Book of Wonders. I invite everybody to come over to see the exhibition. It's really a treat to be able to experience your work. Merci beaucoup tout le monde d'avoir écouté l'entrevue avec Ripley. Merci Ripley. J'invite tout le monde à venir voir l'exposition Book of Wonders, Livre des miracles à la Galerie. Bonne journée!